Hey, so I just need to explain a couple of things before you start watching this video. Technically, you're watching it right now, but yeah, I wasn't able to put up a video for like 2 weeks because basically, long story short, I just been dealing with a bunch of stressful stuff in real life, and I made like a promise, not really a promise to mainly myself, but also my subs that I'm not going to keep going on all these long hiatuses that have gone on. Another story for another day, but I didn't put up a video for 2 weeks because I've just been dealing with some really stressful stuff in real life. And I was working on this video like right after I put up the other one, but then I left it for about 4 or 5 days because I was dealing with stuff, and that was already behind. When I finally came back to it, the file was corrupted, so I had to edit it again, and it's just so frustrating. So anyway, I finally did that. So since this is late, I'm deciding to make this a, premiere. I usually save my premieres for like the big projects that I work on, or like, some sort of really important topic. But I'm going to premiere this one so that we can like, have a chance to talk in the little like live chat and stuff to make up for all the lost time. And yeah, that's all I got to say for now. Okay, so now I'm going to start this video. Hey everyone, so I have a bunch of stuff that I need to talk about as usual, but I'm trying to keep most of it about the video that I just made because this is pretty much just going to be like a follow-up of anything that I wanted to say in relation to that, and then my other Let's Talks will be about all the other stuff that I've been wanting to talk about, but I keep holding off. So I made this video where, oh, hang on. I guess I'll explain. I thumbs up my videos, but that's because I rate my videos because ratings help videos to get views. I genuinely don't care if people like or dislike it. It did have majority likes. Now it has like majority dislikes. So I guess people are pissed off about the new video I made. But I'm not gonna, thumbs down my own videos. I don't thumbs up my comments because that doesn't mean anything. Like, I don't care if people agree with me or not. And it's not like it's going to get me more views or something to thumbs up comments. But, if there was like a neutral rating, I'd give my videos a neutral one. But I'm not going to dislike my own videos because that just doesn't make sense. Anyway, so I did this video where I basically told people like, hey, it doesn't make any sense actually because it's called Do You Dare to Listen? And the thumbnail, it's just this part of the video. Where's the text at? It's so weird. Like, the random thumbnail generator thing, well, not random, but it picks like the best thumbnails. It put this part up because this is the only visual throughout the whole video. It says maybe one. And I was saying I wasn't going to put any tags in this video because it was just a thing for my subs. So it wasn't really meant to get a bunch of reach, even though it somehow has 200 views. Typically, like, I don't know, it's just new. Like, I'm getting a bunch of subs right now and it's weird. So yeah, like, it picked this so the thumbnail says maybe one smiley face and the title says Do You Dare to Listen? It's the weirdest thing. And I was telling people I wouldn't put any tags, maybe one. And the funny thing is the tag that I put, it was just a booga booga. I wanted to know if anyone could tell what tags I had because I figured they would type a booga booga in the comment section if they could, but no one saw it. So because some people have this thing where you can see tags. But anyway, I was telling everyone, hey, like, I don't have a video for this week, and I'm trying to not go on these hiatuses anymore because I've done that a lot. So I was just like, I'm gonna put this video out for this week since I don't have one, and since I don't have one, whoever can guess what my next video is gonna be can suggest what I'll draw, and I'll draw it. Not the way you want me to because that's too much work, but I'll do it my way. Just tell me what person you want me to do or what type of person. So I put a rule where I said like it just can't be edited, so none of these comments are edited because then they could switch their answer. And that's the only rule I put. So then there's these people saying like these smart ass answers like I think it's gonna be about something. It's like, okay, you would have been the winner if someone else hadn't have thought of that first, technically. Because this person said, this was the funniest answer. This person said, the topic of the video is about making a constructive criticism at someone for their stupid behavior and/or a video about context. I don't really know, but it's a logical approach. And it's like, okay, smarty, like, I really didn't think anyone would do that, and like they started doing that. Where it's like, yeah, you just casted the widest net that you could. So the other person casted an even wider net, but anyway. I thought that was funny. And so I told them, ugh, like, you know, my viewers are too smart. I wasn't expecting this. Long story short, throughout our whole conversation, they suggested that I drew Zalgo, and it's this person from a creepypasta. And that's as far as I'll get with this, because this is like, I don't know how long is this video right now. It's already 4 minutes in, which I'm going to be cutting down, obviously. Yeah, so the drawing that I'm about to do is this person named Zalgo, and they're from a creepypasta because that's what this person suggested, and they won the thing. So yeah, aside from that, I thought this one was funny real quick. This one said, they said, "Are you gonna talk about Markiplier again?" And I was just like, lol, I don't ever want to talk about Markiplier again. And then they were saying, thank you for putting him in his place. So I thought that they were just like, oh my God, can you shut the fuck up about him? But no, they were just like, oh no, like, okay, I was hoping. So anyway, moving on from all that, I gotta talk to you all about all this other stuff. So I got notes because, I'm gonna be jumping around so much. Okay, so I didn't even say the person's name. Jesus Christ, let me go back. Their name is, oh yeah, they have the coolest fucking name, Theater of Dreams Studios. Anyway, so yeah, if you want to see any more about that, you can just read the conversation we had. It was cute. They said either Zalgo or Meta Knight, but even they were saying like Meta Knight is an easier one. I want to try something that I've never done before, which is a creepy drawing, and I hate scary stuff. So if I draw it, it's not really all that scary, but people get creeped out by my art, like my profile picture. They're like, the bleeding eyes, it's creepy. I thought it was cute. So here's the first thing I want to talk about. Before I get into like the video about the commentary community, I first want to talk about the comments. And so it's like, I have like a lot of people who are developing an obsession with my channel, who like hate me, but they like hate to agree with me, and they would hate to like me or whatever, you know, like yandere. I got a lot of yandere who are subbing to me. It's not a shit ton, but it's a good amount. And I'm not surprised, because that was kind of always that's why I played that Jimmy Dore video in the video that I did about idubbbz, where I had no idea that other people were doing this too, because it's such a new concept and not many people are doing it, where you pretty much mimic the aesthetic of the people that you're trying to debunk. Because the funny thing is, I had this theory a long time ago, but as time went by, I actually saw that they've done studies on it, and it's true, where, you know, tribalism is a big thing that we have a problem with in society. So if you come into someone else's tribe and you're trying to explain to them how their ways of behaving is toxic, they don't want to listen to shit that you have to say. But if someone from the tribe is telling them the same thing, they're more open to listen. It's just that's how biased human beings are, which is again why I keep saying we have to stop caring about all these arbitrary factors in a conversation, like the words you use, the tone you have, you know, the pacing, your mannerisms. All that stuff is arbitrary. What you look like, what you sound like, it means nothing. Pay attention to what people are saying, not how they're saying it or where they come from, because that has absolutely nothing to do with what is being said. 99% of communication is everything but the words that we say. So I do say that a lot. And when I say pay attention to what people are saying, it's not pay attention to the individual words. Pay attention to the context. That's why I talk about context so much, like the person who guessed the topic of my other video, because that's the most important part of a conversation. So an example that I used to give a lot, but I haven't in a while, so I'll do it now for all these new people who are sub to me, is when you say hello to someone, there is 100 million different ways to say hello to people without changing the word. You could say, hey. You could say, hey. You could say, hey. You know, like, and depending on your face and your mannerisms and all this stuff, it shows that you mean hey in a different way. Like, you could be saying like, ugh, it's you, but just saying the word hey. You could be saying like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in a long time, but all you're saying is hey. So we're literally speculating 24/7 when speaking to each other, because 99% of these conversations, that's just the word hey. Imagine a conversation where you use 100 words, just 100, okay? How many times you use 100 words in a conversation? A lot, if not way more. I've used way over 100 already. So that's why it's just so crazy to me when I get comments that say, oh, you're speculating. You're speculating. It's like, yeah, everyone is. No shit. And it's just this, it's this schizophrenic like argument that people have when they're like saying, don't speculate, in a world where speculation is more important than actual words. Like, there's times where you can watch shows where you can't even understand what they're saying, but you can tell what's happening in the show based off of how they're interacting with each other. So that whole speculation argument is so stupid. Ignore the dog in the background. Like, it's crazy. Like, for people who don't know anything about me, well, pretty much everybody, like, you know a lot about me, but you don't know what I'm about to say. It's crazy. I live next to a train station, next to an airport, a military base, and a firehouse, and a police station. And then there's a dog next door. And when none of that's going on, you know, with the trains and the planes flying by, people always want to mow their lawns or blow leaves or, like, you know, shovel snow. So there's, and the walls are paper thin, so there's just constant fucking noise in the background. And that's why I'm always saying ignore the train, the plane, the dog, blah, 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 blah. People are mowing their lawns. It's ridiculous. I can never record anything. And no, I can't just hide in the closet like Matthew does because of the type of doors. It's not soundproof at all. So, but yeah, like, moving on from that, I have, like, a lot of people who are obsessed with my channel, and it's because I'm saying a lot of stuff that does make sense, and that's not me trying to say, oh, I know everything, blah, 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 blah. Would you like to live your life not making sense or making sense? That's clearly the goal, so no, I'm not being a by saying I say a lot of things that make sense. I don't know everything, but I know that a lot of what I have to say is right because I base my morals off of looking for contradictions in people's logic and hypocrisy, which is about as factual as you can get when debunking conversations. Two contradictory statements can't be right at the same time. It has to be one or the other. So if I'm saying you're a liar, there's fact in that because you can't say that you went to the store on Saturday and then say you never went to the store on Saturday. It's one or the other. But yeah, I say a lot of stuff that makes sense, and they have issues with that because there is a lot of things that people are brainwashed with in society. And one of those things I wanted to talk about that I didn't get a chance to talk about in the previous video because there's just so much to cover. And like in my Let's Talks, I get derailed a lot because this is just me talking about a bunch of stuff. It's not meant to have like a straight flow or anything. But people aren't aware of the fact that the capitalistic society that we live in dictates how we interact with each other because most people aren't self-aware and they can't detach themselves from that. They can't detach themselves from how they were taught as kids. And that's a whole conversation that I need to have with all of you. Like, that's another video I have to make about like brainwashing from childhood and stuff. So I'm not going to go into everything, but prime example of how like different places brainwash you to believe that certain things are right and wrong is like, for example, in Asian countries, there's places where people bow a lot. And that's like a form of respect and being cordial and professional. But if you bow in America, no one cares about that. It's not that instinctively you bow, it's that you were taught to do that from childhood. And the same thing goes with people telling me, you need to sound nicer when talking to people. You can go to other countries out there in Africa, you can go to countries in Asia, you can go to places in Australia where people don't talk like that and they respect each other. They just talk however they want. They don't have to worry about professionalism. We only care about professionalism because who's the most professional people you can think of? Businessmen. And what kind of society do we live in? A capitalistic society. And who works in a capitalistic foundation, if that's even the right way to say that? Businessmen, okay? Businessmen. They're supposed to speak to each other nicely and smile and be inviting and welcoming and, you know, agreeable. You have to be agreeable to people you're trying to make sales with and all this stuff. That's not how humans talk normally, okay? So it's just, it's BS. And if you can't look past that to understand what someone has to say, you're already so far behind in the stuff that I want to talk about that I'm just not going to waste my time trying to cater to you. I'm not. Furthermore, on top of that, people do not respect kindness. They don't. This is coming from somebody who genuinely used to be an altruistic empath as a kid. I'm not an altruist anymore, but I used to be one when I was a kid, and I had to learn the hard way that people do not give a fuck about you being nice. And being an altruist doesn't mean that you're nice for people to be nice to you. Like, altruists are just nice by nature. And I don't care if people want to say that that makes me think I'm perfect. You don't understand anything about altruism if you think that altruists are perfect. It's a terrible mindset to have. It's detrimental to yourself and it's detrimental to victims as well. But that's another conversation I have to have for another day. So it's not a good thing to be. But altruists are just like that just to be that way. Like, there's no ulterior motive in being a selfless person or being altruistic. It's just an instinct. And you get punished for it. Why? Because abuse abusers. If you read up in psychology, abusive people specifically prey on empathetic people. So imagine being an empath and an altruist and a child. You are prey number one. Like, you're the easiest thing to get. You get my point? So I had to learn the hard way growing up about how messed up the world was and how abusive people are. And that's why I keep saying most people are narcissistic and sociopathic and all this stuff, because I had to experience that stuff my whole childhood. And I will tell stories about that as time goes by and stuff, because I think it's important. But yeah, so I will get into the commentary video in a little bit, but all this stuff is important for me to say because that was the most important video that I ever wanted to make. I've been suffering from the raw end of the deal of dealing with, you know, edgelords and these optimistic nihilists my whole life. So it's a very personal thing, that video that I made. And it's something that I've been wanting to make for years. I wanted to do him before he even did his Rice Gum content cop, but that's when I officially started writing out stuff that I wanted to say. But I just ended up not doing it because I went on a lot of hiatuses on YouTube. And yeah, because another thing that I gotta talk about soon, because I wanted to do a video on disassociated, and I don't know if I'm going to, but I'm gonna have to bring it up there anyway, is that I have chronic depression and chronic PTSD. And yes, I've been diagnosed with it more than once from different licensed psychologists. So, and I've been to psychiatrists, I've seen therapists, I've seen social workers. They all give me the same diagnosis. I have chronic depression and chronic post-traumatic stress disorder. I didn't even know that you could put chronic to post-traumatic stress disorder, even though that's a no-brainer. So yeah, I've been through a lot of like abuse growing up. So that's why I focus on like the of nature and people a lot, because I've had an overexposure to it. So all these toxic tendencies are just like, it's the red flags are like so obvious to me. It's just, I can't help but talk about that stuff. So anyway, point being, just to sum up everything that I want to say here and then move on to the next thing, is that it's just these people who are yandere on my channel and stuff, they're upset because the things that I'm saying is making sense, but I'm being very aggressive, you know? Like, I just got a follower on Twitter after cussing him out. Like, I cussed him out because he was voter shaming and he wasn't aware of it. And he was calling me a simple bitch throughout the argument, like stupid bitch and all this other stuff. But I just kept cussing him out with logic and reasoning though, and telling him what is wrong with him. And by the end of it, out of nowhere in the argument, he was just like, okay, so I'ma follow you, and I expect that you're gonna follow me too. And maybe we could start over. It's just, people respect aggression. So I don't care how much people tell me that I should be nicer. I'm not gonna be nicer because I've already done that, like, for almost like over a decade with, well, not even almost, for over a decade with edgelords and abusive people, and they don't care. The minute I started getting more aggressive, people respected me more. So you're just never going to tell me to be nicer. I really don't care if you can't pay attention to aggressive people. It's not my problem. Someone else can pick up on these topics that I talk about and say it in a nice way if they want to reach that audience, but I'm not going to waste my time doing that. So now that I'm done with that, done with those comments, let me see what time I'm at. Damn, I'm already at 20 minutes. So, let's see. So I wanted to just address a few things in my commentary video, like with the whole idubbbz being racist. That's like the biggest disagreeable one, and I knew it was gonna be. No one talks about it. Everyone, when you ask, is idubbbz racist, they either say yes or no, and most of them say no. They don't want to talk about why or how or whatever. They're just like yes or no, and it's stupid. I say he's on the racist spectrum because it's a no fucking brainer. There's a scene that I played in my last video where he's talking to Caffeine, and Caffeine said, "The blood-sucking foolery that you're doing." That's how he said it, and idubbbz made fun of it and said, "The blood-sucking foolery that you doing." He didn't say it like that. So why would he imitate it in that way when he wasn't pronouncing it like that at all? He's literally making fun of him for being a stereotypical black guy when he wasn't even being one. So that's why I'm saying he's racist, because how can you interpret what he clearly didn't fucking say it that way, and you still made fun of it when that's just how some people speak, so there's nothing funny about it. So for you to make fun of that is saying being that type of a black person is funny. That's the only joke. You can't walk your way out of that. He wasn't even talking like that, and then I played a clip where idubbbz said that he's just gonna treat them like they're normal human beings, but you didn't. He was acting like what you see as a normal human being, and you still put that label on him anyway. And it's funny, I was talking to one of my friends about it, and I played the clip for her where he says, "Oh, I'm just gonna treat them like they're normal human beings." She said, "But doesn't he treat normal human beings like shit?" And she was like, "So what the f does that mean? Like, what's the point of that? I should have put this in the video with idubbbz, but I didn't think about it until now. So I want to explain why idubbbz is dog whistling to his fans and his subs, etc. And I know that this is going to make a lot of people mad or whatever, because most of the people who had an issue with my video kept focusing on that and the Zoe Burger thing, which is just so dumb. Ignore the cars in the background. But yeah, so the main point that I was trying to make is, if you dissect what's actually happening, you know, speculation is part of basic communication. But the problem is that people only speculate the surface, and unless something's right in their face, they don't want to talk about it. So this issue is something where you have to speculate further. You have to ask more constructive questions and more detailed questions. So if you look at how idubbbz uses the N-word, he is an edgelord. And I'll throw up the definition again. The whole point of being an edgelord is to offend people to appear as if you're cool. So if you're trying to offend someone, that's why I made that connection where I said, you know, his motivation for exposing people and his motivation for doing these response videos is to offend the people who he's addressing. So when he's using the N-word purposefully in front of another black person, and he's just hoping and praying that they're going to take offense to it so that he can throw out that argument where it's like, there's nothing wrong with saying it. He's saying it to trigger them. So you're not saying it in an endearing way, which has always been the argument of taking the word back in the first place. You're not trying to say it in an endearing way, and you're not trying to say it in a constructive way. You're not even trying to say it just as a lighthearted joke. You're specifically saying it to trigger people so that you can then puff yourself up on your intellectual behavior or whatever, as if, I got this great argument for why it's okay to say. But if your whole point of saying it is to offend someone, you are then using it in a derogatory way. So that's why it's dog whistling. And it's so sad that I have to explain this, but people don't get stuff like that because they don't think that deeply on subjects like this. But the fact that he did that and then said basically it's all in the past and I don't see color, you know, it's, I'm sorry, but it's obvious to anyone with a brain that he's on the spectrum of being racist. I don't think that he's some uber like hardcore racist, but he's definitely racist to some degree, and he's a very privileged guy in the first place since he's never had a real job. So I don't know, people just need to wake up. It's so sad. People don't understand that it's not about you explicitly saying black people are less than me. The fact of the matter is, if you actually knew how to speculate, he clearly admires being cool. The whole point of being an edgelord is to appear as a cool person, because edgelords are for the most part nerds. Nerds who are wimpy and fragile and, you know, pussies. And so they offend people to appear cool because they're overly aggressive to overcompensate for the coolness and the toughness that they lack. You know, there's cycles. The people who used to be the bullies are now the ones who get bullied. The jock, the fat kid, they're the ones who get bullied now, you know, even though they used to be the ones who beat up the nerds. And now the nerds are the edgelords and they're picking on those people. And it's just these cycles, you know? So anyway, he clearly wants to be cool, and there's a lot of black people who have a very cool aesthetic, and he clearly can't pull that off. So it's obvious that if he can be so envious of Leafy that he made his content cop as revenge because his girlfriend wanted to hop on Leafy's dick, it makes perfect sense that he could also be just as envious of the cool aesthetic of black people, and that's where his racism stems from. He wants to make a mockery out of them as a personal vendetta. And I don't care what anyone says, everything that he says and does towards them points towards that. Because for him to say, I don't see color, because he said, I'm going to treat them like they're normal human beings while you can keep trying to make up for all the stuff that we did to them in the past. So he's saying it's in the past, and he's saying, I'm just going to treat them like they're not black, like they're people. That means you don't see color. You can't interpret that any other fucking way. So since he's going to do that, for you to then make an argument saying, yes, us white people like the heels of the bread. Like, oh, it's my white skin that makes me like the beep on the microwave. Oh, so you all of a sudden see color now. You all of a sudden see that there's a difference between white and black people now. Like he was doing the reverse, like, oh, I'm so oppressed as a white person. It's so pretentious. Like if people can't see that subtle dog whistling, there's something wrong with you. But people who actually recognize struggles that black people have don't make comments like that, and that's why I said I've never seen him say anything nice about black people. It would be so easy to make one comment on the struggles of black people, but he never has. And if anything, he's made a mockery of them, a mockery of their culture, and a mockery of how they speak and how they act. It's insane. So for people to not make that connection, this is what I mean by people are so stupid that they only recognize stuff when it's right in their face. Like if it's not right in your face, smacking you upside the head, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. You're speculating. It's so sad, and people just don't know how to recognize behavioral patterns. So that's all I gotta say about him being racist. You gotta wake up and open your eyes. One commenter was saying to me, oh really? The reason why you said that idubbbz is racist is because he made fun of Jinx and Caffeine, and you know, he never said anything nice about a black person. And I was like, that's not all that I said, you moron. And two, I didn't even bring up the stuff that he said about Jinx during the segment about him being racist. So you weren't even paying attention to the fucking video. Like, this person was getting on my nerves. I argued with them in the comment section. Ugh. Like, for people who don't understand what point I'm at right now with arguing with people in the comment section, like, I normally do, but like, my comment section is starting to get like more attention these days because I'm getting more viewers, and it'd be like, I feel like if I'm gonna argue with one person or read one comment, I gotta read at least 10 more. You know, like, it wouldn't be fair for me to just pick one person. But like, my comments are getting out of control because like, this one guy, oh my god, one of the yandere that I have, he was going around spamming my channel, spamming everywhere, accusing me of false stuff constantly. Like, the worst thing he accused me of was plagiarizing Hush Bang, I think it was, or Guilt Tea, one of the tea channels from the Stephanie Sue thing, when I never even watched their videos. And he was contradicting himself constantly. He was saying that I did a terrible job on my video with Stephanie Sue, but then he said that I plagiarized them and stole everything that they said, and then he said they did a much better job than me because they looked at both sides and they were neutral about it, and I just went after Stephanie. All three of those things can't be right at once. If I plagiarized them, why do you like what they said more than me if I just copied what they said? And how did they do a better job than me if I plagiarized them? And how is it that they were neutral and I wasn't if I plagiarized them? It doesn't make sense. And on top of that, the only reason why I know that those channels exist is because everyone kept saying how biased they were and how they were just parroting that Stephanie is innocent, which I didn't do that at all. So how could I have parodied them? And why the hell would I leave out that source when I cited every single source that I used, and I even put up screenshots of comments that weren't being heard? I put those all throughout the video and all sorts of sources in different videos. Why would I leave out that one? It just doesn't make sense. So he was accusing me of insane stuff, and he was literally spamming the mess out of my comment section. And I do need to do a video about like censorship and freedom of speech and spam and stuff, but I'll do that another day. In the future, I might actually censor people if they spam too much. His spam went to the bottom of the comment section, so it wasn't silencing other voices. But spamming is a form of censorship, so I am against censorship. And if you're spamming to shove down other people's opinions, I'm gonna have to censor that, because that's not freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is that you get to say whatever you want, and you have to allow other people to say it too. So you can't use your freedom of speech to silence other people's voices. I have a lot more to say, but I'm just gonna move on. So I need to do a video about censorship in detail. But yeah, so like, some of these comments I get are just so fucking dumb, and since he spammed me so much and I argued with him so much, he honestly exhausted the mess out of me. And it's sad because he's actually starting to come around now. Like, me and him are having a very cordial conversation at this point, after he's already like said a bunch of stuff about me that just was insane, wild accusations. But like, because of all the spam and just constantly responding to everyone and flooding my comment section, like, I'm just exhausted with debating people. So on my last video, this one idiot comes in and he was like, you strawmanned all throughout the video and you took a lot of it out of context. I mean, like, a lot. I would love to debate you about that. I'm like, you narcissistic asshole, the world does not revolve around you. First of all, those aren't arguments. If you start off your need for a debate with most of your 50-minute video that covered several different topics were strawmans and taking things out of context, you're already telling me everything I need to know about why I shouldn't debate you, because you clearly don't know what those two terms mean, or else you wouldn't use them so generally. Those are terms that you cannot use in a generalized fashion. It has to be a nuanced discussion to even bring up strawmanning or to bring up taking something out of context. So for him to accuse the whole 50-minute video where there were large segments of other people's opinions in the video, like other people, where I didn't chime in, how are you gonna call that straw manning? It was so stupid. So not only do I not want to debate you because you don't know what you're talking about, but I also don't want to debate you because I'm fucking exhausted with talking to people like that. And on top of that, again, it's so narcissistic. Like, these people don't realize their own tendencies for you to say, I disagree with you. Let's debate. Why should I pick you of all people to debate a 50-minute video with? What is so special about you? You get my point? Like, it's ridiculous. So if you're not gonna come out and tell me what specifically you disagree with at first, why should I say, yeah, sure, let's do that debate. I got hours to kill. Do you know how, if it takes 50 minutes to watch a video, imagine how long it would take to debate that freaking thing through text and wait for replies and then come back and argue some more. And he's someone who I would clearly have to debunk a lot of what he's saying. So whatever he says, I'm going to have to type twice as much. I'm not doing that. So I just told him not an argument. And then him and some other idiot came in and they're just like, what do you mean it's not an argument? I ain't even debate yet. Yeah, your opening statement isn't even worth arguing about. It's not an argument. It's just a generalized piece of shit statement that's a false framing, and I'm not going to get into that. So I'm so sick of people who think, I know so much. I disagree. It's time for me to tell you the truth, Kurena. Oh my god, these pretentious idiots. So anyway, that's why I said that stuff to him, and that's why I cussed out that other idiot who was telling me they tried to say that I cherry-picked them for only responding to one of the many dumb things that they said. They're like, didn't you just get mad about cherry-picking? I picked one out of the litter. I didn't cherry-pick with you. I picked one out of the litter. Everything you said was stupid. So it's not cherry picking. That's not the same thing. Just because I picked one thing to respond to doesn't mean I'm cherry picking. And they were like, the one thing you picked is the only thing I didn't mean seriously. No, you're mad because I made you look like an idiot when I actually responded to just one of the things you said. So you decided to absolve yourself by saying, I purposefully meant to be done with that one. Okay, well, what about everything else? Because I actually told you why I hate everything you said now. You gonna say I'm cherry picking again? I could have responded to anything. You would have said the same thing, stupid. So yeah, I hate talking to people like that because they're so fucking annoying. So anyway, I'm gonna move on from that. What time am I at? Because I'm just like rambling about these stupid commenters. But that's why you're not gonna see me argue as much in my comment section these days if my videos keep going up the way that they are, because I just won't have the time. So I don't know, maybe I'll do videos where I read comments and just respond, because I don't know what to do if I keep getting comments like that. Ugh. Oh, they called me a contrarian. That's what it was. They called me a contrarian, but they agreed with some of the stuff that I had to say. They said, I think you're a contrarian who just wants to be a contrarian. How the fuck are you gonna start off your comment by calling me a contrarian and then agreeing with some of the stuff I have to say? Again, it's manipulative because you're setting up a false framing. You're framing it to make it seem like you're just going to disagree with everything just because you like to. So that sets up a false framing where if I actually respond to you and have an actual conversation, you're just going to call me a contrarian again. It's not fair. It's a very manipulative tactic, and then they continue to be cordial afterwards. You can't set up a false framing to put this defaming statement on me that I'm just someone who can't take criticism and is just going to disagree and get angry or whatever, and then start to be cordial and act like you didn't just do what you just did. So then when I get mad, you'll be like, oh, well, why you acting like that, Miss Immature? I'm not getting into that. I'm still going to cuss you out, and I'm going to call you out on your full of shitness. Again, my advice to anybody who's being manipulated, just call it out. That's what I always do. I just call out people's behavior, and then they usually shut the fuck up or I fucking leave. But that settles it. It stops you from becoming the victim of a situation. Just call out their behavior, and the only people who are going to be fooled are the people trying to abuse you. So it won't, like, that's how you avoid getting your character defamed, if you call out their BS. Okay, so one funny thing I want to talk about in this video that I made, obviously the one I keep talking about with idubbbz in the commentary community, is that edgelords have like their own language. It's so funny. Like, there's this one scene in the video. I'm gonna first start off with, like, these are all the things that just made me laugh my ass off the whole time I was editing. Every single time I had to listen to it again, where I'm cutting clips and rearranging and listening and editing visuals, I had to keep hearing these phrases and I just could not stop laughing. Like when there's this scene where PewDiePie is just like, I don't really know if I can call idubbbz my friend because we don't really talk.
I don't know if I'm allowed to call him a friend because we don't really talk.
And when he like said talk and was laughing, I put this text next up to like his face where like I basically put no you can't. So every single time he like coughs out the laugh, there's like text behind his head that he can't see because, you know, it's not real. And so I don't know, that scene just makes me laugh every single time because it's like a lack of awareness. or whatever. But anyway, there were some other clips that made me laugh. Like, there's this one dude who's got like this big old beard. I think his name is the Quartering. It's something like that. Basically, throughout his whole video, he just was making up excuses for idubbbz, even though he said he wasn't going to. The whole video was like trying to humanize the inhuman behavior of idubbbz. The apathetic, hypocritical BS that idubbbz did, he kept trying to humanize it and normalize it. So it just was contradictory within itself. But then the one place where he should sympathize, since he was still subscribed to idubbbz, he didn't give a fuck about. And this is what I mean when I say people want to enable dark impulses. Places where people should be empathetic, they're not. And places where they shouldn't make up excuses for people, they do. Because humans want to enable their dark impulses. And the more I say it, the more you're going to recognize that behavioral pattern when you see it. You know, for people who don't know about this. So it was funny because he made up all these excuses, but then when it came to the subject of idubbbz being stressed out and, you know, having to deal with all this criticism, and he still subscribed to this guy, so he should be sympathizing with that if this is someone who you actually feel bad about. He just said, you know, when it comes to the subject of like him and his girlfriend,
not my problem, not my concern. I'm doing this video for the memes.
I don't care. I'm not here for that. I'm doing this for the memes. It was just the saddest statement that I've ever seen. He's just like, I don't care, not my problem. I'm doing this for the memes. And I'm like, isn't that the saddest thing? Isn't that the saddest thing in the world? Like, there's this whole controversy going on. Like, people's lives are being put out on display and, like, they're getting embarrassed all throughout the internet. And you're just like, I'm just here for the memes. I swear to God, like, I don't know how to explain how sad that is and how horrible that is, but like the fact that you're living your life for the memes, like in the darkest of other people's times, there's just something about that that is just so typically edgelord. That's such an edgelord line. And you know, you hear edgelords say that all the time, like, I don't talk, I meme, because they're so freaking antisocial. So anyway, that was freaking hilarious, and I had to hear that so many times, and every time I hear it, it just gets funnier and funnier.
Not my problem, not my concern. I'm doing this video for the memes.
So, moving on from that, there's this Thomas the Tank Engine guy. I don't know his name. And the Thomas the Tank Engine guy, he has this music in the background that's like, like it's this trumpet music that's playing. And he's got this like, I don't care about anything in life type of voice. So he's like, and it was just so funny because he was a walking contradiction too. Like, he made a half joke, which was not actually a joke. It was his real feelings about women.
So, idubbbz's girlfriend has OnlyFans, and for some reason people are asking what idubbbz thinks about this. Who f***ing cares? She is not his property. She's free to do whatever she wants with her body. Stop mauling over seeing a pair of tits. It's pathetic. First of all, women are property. They were created by the Lord Jesus Christ for our entertainment.
And then he excused the joke with logic backing up the joke as if it wasn't a joke.
It's pathetic. First of all, women are property. They were created by the Lord Jesus Christ for our entertainment. Second of all, yes, she has the power to do that. But idubbbz also has the power to break up with her. A girl who gains her money by having the bald man cry is no way, shape, and form good for a relationship. And add on to the fact that idubbbz has made fun of people like you before, and we get a hypocritical toxic fest.
So he really does like view women as, you know, this sexual type of thing, because he was making up excuses as to why like presenting yourself in a sexual way is a bad thing. And it was just so funny because right afterwards he was then saying that the people who were making up excuses for idubbbz were just so contradictory it was sad. So I slowed that clip down and then I put the irony smack my head. And when you slow it down, the trumpet music was like brr, brr, brr. It was so funny.
And we get a hypocritical toxic fest.
The people defending Ian right now are acting like f***ing Neanderthals.
I don't know why, but I had to keep listening to it to edit like the red over his face and put the text block up and all this, and to slow it down not too much, too little. And I just had to keep hearing brr, 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 while he was contradicting himself. So I don't know, that just seemed like an edgy thing too. Like, I don't know, like when edgelords screw up, it's like wah, wah, wah. So it was just so funny. And then there was like one more. There was another clip where, idubbbz, when he was responding to people, and he was like, you'd think that these fucking retards would do some research.
You think these fucking retards would actually do a smidgen of research?
I don't know, like, it's such an edgy thing to, like, have to call your own fans who are upset with your hypocritical actions retards. Like, that is such an edgelord thing to do. Like, you've been caught red-handed, and you're like, well, you're the retard. So, like, I was telling one of my friends, like, I feel like I was doing this video, I was on a safari, like, just watching edgelords in the jungle interacting with one another. And, you know, you have this unaware edgelord like PewDiePie. Because, you know, idubbbz is the king of all the edgelords. And, you know, because he's the one guy who nobody wanted to criticize. They all wanted to be on his good side. So it's like, he's, like, staring at him from afar, even though he's, like, the strongest, or, like, one of the more influential ones. idubbbz is still the king, so he's like, I don't know if I can call the king my friend because we don't really talk. And then you keep going on the safari, and this guy's like, I don't care about none of this. I'm just doing this for the memes. And then you keep driving, and there's like the Thomas the Tank Engine guy who's just like, all these people are hypocritical, talking about, you know, making up excuses for idubbbz, and I'm gonna be hypocritical too. And then you have idubbbz the king addressing all the people who are angry at him, and he's just like, you think these f***ing retards do some f***ing research? And then the Thomas the Tank Engine guy in his response video, like, if you watched it, he was just like, yeah, we're all a bunch of retards, okay. It was just so funny. Oh my god, that was the funniest thing. So I liked that part when I was editing. That just kept a smile on my face. Okay, let me see what time I'm at. Okay, so this video is about to be an hour long. I'm gonna try to cut it down as much as possible, but that's not saying much because I had to address a bunch of stuff. I'm jumping around a lot, and I don't know how much of this Zalgo drawing I'm gonna show, but like, if you want to see the full thing, you gotta go to my art channel. It's hard for me to upload regular drawing videos because when I draw on paper, I can knock out a picture like it's nothing. But there's still, even after all these years, this disorientation when drawing online. I don't know how to sketch on the computer. It's so weird. Literally, I drew a picture in 5 minutes on paper that would have taken me an hour to do on the computer, just the sketch part of it. So I'm really trying to get past that so I can draw faster, so I can put up all these unfinished pictures that I have. But this one is already almost done as I'm recording right now. So it will be up either as I'm putting up this video or very soon. So go subscribe to my art channel if you want to see the finished version of this Zalgo drawing. Moving on from that, I want to talk about people telling me to be nicer. Did I already do that? I think I did. Yeah, this is further down the list, but again, long story short, people don't respect it when you're nice to them. I'm not going to waste my time doing that. And honestly, it's disingenuous. When people tell me I should be more agreeable, it's so disingenuous. Think about it. Why am I trying to be agreeable with people who I don't agree with? You're being manipulative. You're trying to curry favor. That's why I played that clip where that woman said,
and yes, this is inevitable if you're a channel that blows up because of your opinions. First, you're going to be constantly walking a tightrope with your new massive audience in hopes of keeping everyone happy and agreeing with you. This, of course, is impossible. You taught your audience to think critically and to be careful of who you trust. It is also very likely that your viewers are subscribed to other commentary channels, and if you step on those other commentary channels' toes, who's to say they won't side with them and turn against you?
And that's why PewDiePie said that he recognizes that a lot of big YouTubers have psychopathic traits. If you want to see more contradictions, watch the beginning of my commentary and idubbbz video that I just did, where PewDiePie is correctly assessing Jake and Logan's behavior, but it's contradictory because of how he assessed idubbbz behavior when idubbbz has the same problem. But I'll get into that in a minute. So my whole point is I shouldn't have to be nicer to people, because for me to be agreeable is for me to not be honest. If you agree with me, you do. If you don't, then you don't. I'm subject to change my opinions, but I'm not here to agree with everybody. If I think that something is objectively an intelligent argument, I'm going to try to adopt that because I want to be the best person that I can be. I want to try to learn as much as I can about people, not because I want to agree with everybody. So I'm just not here to agree with people, and if you don't like it, oh well. So moving on with Brittany Venti. So she did this video on Anissa and idubbbz-ish. So in her follow-up video, she has like this 3-hour stream that she did that I watched. And like I watched that like maybe a day or two ago. She said a lot of stuff that I agree with, but there's stuff that I really don't agree with. I think like 70% of what she said is on point, but there's like a good 30% where she's just constantly contradicting herself. So, you know, for one, I do want to point out that I was looking at the reactions of people as they were watching idubbbz's video when he was like saying, no one cares if you got like a past history when applying for a job or if you look a certain way. So many people are shocked by that, and I'm like, none of you speculate. Anybody who's shocked by the fact that idubbbz thinks that when applying for a job they don't look into your past history, and they shouldn't, they don't speculate, because that, like, even the clips I played at the beginning of my video on idubbbz, why do you think his parents said he needs a wake-up call? Why do you think that his girlfriend says he's a man-child? Why are all these people in his personal life who are friends with him, not PewDiePie, someone who's admitting to not know him, his his girlfriend, his sister, his father, and his mother are all saying he needs a wake-up call. And his girlfriend's saying he's a man-child and, you know, he has all these issues. He doesn't want to grow up. He doesn't want to take responsibility. And then he admits in videos he doesn't want to take responsibility for anything. I don't want you to look up to me. You know, I don't care. Like, it's because he doesn't know what responsibility is. Like, he's not a responsible person. So it's not that far of a leap to speculate that he's never had to have a real job in his life. He became a YouTuber at a very young age. It's not a shocker. So it's just insane that, you know, people are surprised by that. But they were. So moving on from that, I can't remember what her reaction was, but people really need to speculate more. But yeah, so I agree with a lot of what she said. And even when it comes to work, a lot of what she said was good, but like, for one, I want to address one thing. She kept making fun of SJWs. I'm so tired of people making fun of SJWs. Like, it's so hypocritical. Pretty much everyone who I see making fun of SJWs do SJW stuff. Like with her, for example, the fact that she's arguing that we need to get rid of porn is like the most SJW thing I've ever heard. Like, there are SJWs out there who say we should ban porn because it oppresses women. That within itself sounds stereotypically SJW, and she doesn't phrase it that way, but that's what she's saying. She's like, it's bad for women and it's like trafficking and blah, 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 blah. Like, that is the most SJW thing you could ever fight for. So you are an SJW, Brittany Venti, whether you want to be one or not. Like, you know, when I look at idubbbz arguing against understand, when it comes to SJWs, they're social justice warriors. There are two sides of a war. So whenever I see people say, I'm an anti-SJW, you're an SJW because you're on the other side of the war. You're all fighting for social issues. You either agree with that side on the social issue or you disagree, but you're still bringing up your opinion of a social issue. So it's stupid to make fun of SJWs and argue with them because you then make yourself an SJW, you fucking idiots. So everybody's a fucking SJW. Now, I don't think that I think I've been called like an SJW twice, so I know some people will say, you just say that because people call you that. I think I've seen that comment like twice, and it was from people who say stuff like, you being feminist, you know, stuff like that. Like, I get comments where I just say every insult in the book, and then they're like, I know that this is hurting your feelings. I don't give a fuck about that. What does that even mean? I want to actually talk about the psychology of that too. When people think stuff like that actually hurts people like me, I need to do a video on that too, but moving on. So she's a fucking SJW. She said a bunch of SJW stuff in that 3-hour stream, so it was just sad for me to see her going against them when it's just such a lack of self-awareness when she does that. But anyway, on the argument of sex work, those women who are out there taking off their shirt and writing on their chests are working for a cause that you are also on the same side of, whether you like it or not. Because the fact of the matter is, as I put in my comment on the other video, shaming someone out of doing anything that you think is bad for themselves sends them further towards that thing. They've done studies on it. It's already proven. There's no argument to be had. People will just do it in secret, so they'll be even less safe about it, and then you won't even know that they're doing it. So if you really want women to stop going into porn, the last thing you should do is shame them out of it. So again, those women writing on their chests, trying to take the shame out of being one, makes it better. And I found whenever I talk to anyone who's ashamed of any bad habit that they have, any bad habit, when you make them unashamed of it, they actually work on it more, because then they can have an open discussion about it and they don't have to feel bad about it. So it's just stupid. But the other reasons why she's wrong about why shouldn't be, you know, stigmatized and stuff, and why it shouldn't be banned actually, is because she keeps talking about how like it takes the romance out of stuff, and you know, it's a private thing. There's people out there who literally love to have sex in public. There's people who are like that. That is the best sex they've ever had in their life. Okay? There's people out there who like to be watched when having sex. Like they'll bring someone in to watch them and their husband have, or they'll watch their husband have sex with someone. That's just not your thing, okay? So it's just, she's really being a prude, and I'm not shocked. I'm not saying she needs to show cleavage or anything in her videos, but it's like, if you're gonna button your buttons up all the way to the top button, and you keep talking about how sex is this private thing, you're clearly more prudish on the subject of sex than most people. So that's another reason why I just see the clear bias that you are not recognizing within yourself. But she keeps saying, oh, all the evidence is on my side. The evidence is not on your side. You have evidence on your side for why we should do more to stop trafficking. But there's a bigger video I need to have about this, and so what I'm about to say is about to sound really crazy to a lot of people because I've never covered sex trafficking yet on my channel, just because I still don't know how I'm gonna go about doing it, because I'm gonna reference one channel a lot. So I'm trying to figure out how to do this. But like, for people who don't know, our government is controlled by billionaires, and most of them are pedophiles. So a lot of sex trafficking, a lot of issues that people don't know about come down to sex trafficking, and a lot of the top 1% are involved. And if you think about it, it makes sense, because sex trafficking is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So it makes perfect sense that the richest people are involved in it, because how the hell is it a multi-billion-dollar industry if no one's participating in it? There's been sex trafficking rings that have been broken up where they have baby farms, where they kidnap women and make babies and sell the babies. Like, that's a thing. So there's a lot of disgusting stuff that goes on with sex trafficking, but the truth of the matter is, if you ban porn, it'll be even harder to find sex traffic victims, because then it's all going to be on the dark web. It's all going to be in the black market. At least here you can look through porn and try to see which people are victims and try to run a background check, you know, if you're an investigator. So it just, again, it works against you to try to get rid of porn, to go after sex trafficking. And if we could actually legalize sex work and we could regulate it, that would fix a lot of the sex trafficking issues. Then they would be able to get the help that they need. They could go to the police, you know, people who are being sex trafficked, and say, hey, these people are doing this to me, I need help, because this is a legitimate career now. So there are rules and regulations for sex workers, and anyone who aren't following those could be locked up immediately. But unless people actually protest and we push back against the 1%, it's never going to happen, because again, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry and most of the 1% is in on it. It's a really complicated issue, but the protest is in the wrong direction if you're like her and you're saying get rid of porn. The protest needs to be in the direction of holding our leaders accountable so that we can help the most desperate people. So that's why you have to legalize these things and regulate them. And the more you try to make them illegal, the worse it's going to get. So a lot of people are not okay with that. A lot of people don't understand that. And this is coming from somebody who isn't even a very big sexual person or whatever. But, you know, I just understand this stuff from observation. Like, I observe this stuff. I talk to a lot of people. I research stuff. And that's the real answer, to legalize it and regulate it. That's pretty much the answer with most of the illegal problems that we have in society right now. So yeah, that's what I want to say about that. She's just so wrong on how to handle the issue, but she's right about how damaging it is. Also, when she talks about, well, women who go into sex work are shamed, it's because we shame people for having sex. But it's hard for them to get a job because we shame people for having sex. But, you know, they regret the decision because we shame people for... It all comes back to us shaming people. If there was no shame in it, they'd be able to get a job. If there was no shame in it, it wouldn't be taboo. If there was no shame in it, they wouldn't regret it. It's not because it's a bad... Oh, they only do it for money. Brittany, most people work their jobs for money. If you talk to half the accountants out there and secretaries and half of the toilet scrubbers, and all of them are going to tell you, I'm doing this for a paycheck. There's a lot of people who are only working their job because that's how they get their health care. Most people work their jobs for money. So that's also not an argument. So there's just so many things she said that was so wrong on this subject. And she has like a lot of people who really listen to what she has to say. So it's like, you make a lot of sense with a lot of stuff that you're saying, but it's so contradictory. That was annoying to listen to. So that's all I have to say about her. And I didn't have a chance to address that stuff because I didn't even know her opinion on it when I was doing the video. I like to put my videos out without hearing most people's like perspectives if I already have a lot to say, because I want to have my own perspective first and then be influenced by others. So I'll usually record, and then while I'm editing, I'll be listening to other perspectives, and if it's good enough, I'll like add it in. But when I heard hers, I couldn't have added that in because that was a 3-hour stream. I don't upload without hearing other perspectives, but I will record first, get my raw opinion without being influenced, so that I'm not like all these other cookie cutter channels trying to, you know, just say what everybody else agrees with. But yeah, so that's pretty much all I had to say here. I don't think I have anything else to talk about, and this video is probably like 1 hour and 10 minutes long. Anyway, at the end of this, I just want to say thank you for everyone who's subscribing to me right now. Like, it's insane. Oh my god, like, I think I've gotten like 200 subs in the past like week or two, and that's kind of crazy. I forgot one really important thing that I want to say. So to this yandere who was spamming my channel, like, the reason why he started to come around now is because he finally saw that doing all this stuff wasn't changing anything that I wanted to do, and he wasn't gonna stop me. People like that motivate me more to make my content, because those are the kind of people I'm trying to teach people how to defend themselves against. But he was like, honestly, I don't get what you're providing that no one else is. He said, other people do drawing videos while talking, so that's not something something new. And I was like, I keep telling you it's not my format. It's my perspective. And he's like, other people share their opinions on controversial topics. And I'm like, okay, but my perspective is unique. I don't care what anyone says. I've been around this website for so long, and I get enough comments to confirm this anyway. And I've heard this all throughout my life. I clearly have a different perspective from most people, so you're just not going to tell me that I don't. And it's because my upbringing was very, very rare. I went through a lot of stuff that most people don't go through. Being an empath is a very rare thing to be, and being an altruistic empath is even more rare. And then growing up around psychopaths, sociopaths, and narcissists your entire childhood, and being abused and bullied by your entire school for 7 years, yes, that happened to me. Being bullied, being physically, mentally, and verbally abused your entire childhood, having no friends throughout all that, and not killing yourself in the process is something that most people don't go through. How the fuck would most people get bullied by their entire school? How does a school bully itself? It doesn't make sense. It's clearly a rare situation, and that's only a fraction of all the stuff I've been through in my life. So I clearly have a different perspective than most people do. All my friends have told me I need to talk to people about my perspectives because they're like, people need to know these type of things. So I don't think that I'm some sort of perfect person. I don't think I'm some sort of God among men or something because people try to like tell me that. I just think I have a unique perspective, and I am addicted to learning about human behavior. So I read my comments, and when I do see people bring up perspectives that I didn't expect, or I read critiques about myself and stuff, I still take it into account. And basically what I want is to explain where I'm coming from and read where other people are coming from, and we all try to just move in a more productive direction. Like, we all learn from each other. I just don't learn from people who sound stupid as fuck. So for all those people who want to say, well, why didn't you listen to me? Probably because you sound fucking dumb and you're contradicting yourself. My morals are based off of avoiding contradictions and hypocrisy as much as possible, because humans all contradict themselves. We all are hypocrites from time to time. But the point is, you're supposed to recognize it and try to stop fucking doing it. So when I see people who have contradicted themselves 5 times in one fucking sentence, I'm not gonna listen to that shit because it literally is illogical to listen to. So anyway, I wanted to get that out there for people who don't understand that, like with this person who's now starting to come around on my channel. I don't know if he'll end up coming around or if this will turn him off, or my last video turned him off because I told him to make sure he watches that one since he has been watching my videos. But he kept saying you're a clout chaser. I'm not a clout chaser. People who are clout chasers are literally chasing clout. You get it? You get the concept of chasing after something? That's the thing you're running behind. That's your goal. If I was a clout chaser, I wouldn't have made a video on Markiplier because that's clout chasing no number 1. I lost 40 subscribers immediately as soon as I put that video up. 40 people left my channel, and I continued to lose subs for a long time. Maybe like, I think 2 months, if not 4 or 5. Like, my channel was stagnant for so long after I did that video. That same clout chaser definitely wouldn't make 2 videos on the same guy afterwards. What kind of clout chaser makes a video having an issue with the golden boy of YouTube and then makes 2 more? That's clearly not what I'm chasing after. That's not my priority. My priority is getting my perspective out there and reaching as many people as possible with that perspective, because I believe in these things and I care about them. Just because the commentary community is flooded with drama channels doesn't mean that I am a drama channel. So when people say I'm a drama channel or a tea channel, I say no, I'm not. I am a commentary channel, but my goal is not to seek out drama and create drama and talk about, oh, this person clapped back on Twitter, and oh, let's get right into the news, and oh, here comes Tana Mojo, and she said, fuck you nigga to this guy. That's not what my channel's about. It's about human behavior. It's about abuse and the fact that most humans have toxic behavior that we need to look into, and trying to have discussions about that. So I literally just watch videos and react to the stuff that I see. Anything I talk about is something that I care about. And if you look at all these people whose priority is drama, their priority is clout chasing, you will not see that same pattern on those channels. So you can't put such a general label on someone like me, because it just wouldn't make sense. It's like if you called a football stadium an entertainment facility. It's like, technically you could maybe say that, but you could call most stuff entertainment facilities. That doesn't mean that who says I want to go to the entertainment facility this weekend? You want to go? No, they say I want to go to a football field. You get my point? So it's just too general, and it just doesn't actually apply to me. It's just a false label. So I'm never going to subscribe to that. I'm a commentary channel, and everything I talk about, I actually care about. So yeah, it's just, to call me a clout chaser, you just don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, so thanks for watching. Thanks for the almost 200 subs that I've gotten in the past couple weeks. I really appreciate it. And I'm actually like getting really close to getting 5,000 subs, which is weird. And I have 500 followers on Tumblr, and now people are getting on my Twitter, so thank you for that. If you want to message me on Twitter. Like, that gives me motivation to check my Twitter, because I never was using it before, but now I just use it to rant about politics. So you can message me on Twitter. Again, if you want to see this full picture, go to my art channel and subscribe to that, and I'll try to draw on there more often if I can figure out how to sketch. So anyway, I'll see you all next time.